everybody, and thank you so very much for purchasing one of my puppet making kits. In this kit, you'll find a folder containing the instructions as well as the patterns you'll need, and I include this little plastic thing to hold your patterns after you're done and some scratch paper just in case you want to try out patterns yourself. And don't worry, you'll also get the real instructions, which include over 30 illustrations that I drew myself. You'll also get a nice long piece of fabric that you'll use to cut out the main body of your puppet, a pair of scissors, the fabric for the mouth plate and to cover it up, a Sharpie, a little bag with 2 sets of googly eyes, 2 little pom-poms, and 4 glue sticks. And why would I give you glue sticks without giving you your own glue gun? I've also included over 10 swatches of different fabrics you can use to decorate your puppet after you're done. Oh, and what's this? A sewing kit with the needles, a whole bunch of thread, a little tape measure, and all sorts of stuff you can use in your sewing adventures. And of course, you get to keep the bag as well. So let's start this out by cutting our patterns out. We're going to only cut out the main body pattern as well as the mouth plate pattern. If you're wondering what all this is all little patterns you can cut out afterwards to make little accessories for your puppet. So make sure you don't throw them away when you're done cutting them out, leaving us with our 2 patterns we're going to be using. Now you're going to get your long piece of fabric and locate which side is the fuzzy side and which side is not. Take your main body pattern and put it on here and trace it out like this, then flip it to the back and trace out again, leaving you with 2 patterns like this. Now do the same thing but with the mouth plate pattern on this harder, thicker white piece of fabric, leaving you with 2 of these traced out on here. Feel free to use a plastic sleeve we included to put your patterns in there, that way you don't lose them after you're done. Now you can use the scissors to cut out these patterns on the fabric. These may not be dedicated fabric scissors, but as long as you take your time, they should be able to cut through the fabric just fine. This should leave us with 2 of these and 2 of these facing opposite directions. Now get your 2 mouth plates and fit them on the black fabric like this. Once you're happy with how they look, you're going to take one of them off and use your glue gun to put glue right on the edge, just like this. Now you're going to take this and put it back where it was before on the fabric. When you push this down, be careful not to get any of the hot glue on yourself or it might burn you. Do the same for the other side. And now with them both attached like this, you can take it and then use your glue gun to put glue right here on the edge, like that, and then put the fabric back down on top. And when you're done with both sides, use your scissors to cut off all this fabric around it, which should leave it looking like this. If you want the inside of the mouth to be a different color, you can always try to use one of your color swabs instead. You just pick the color you want and do the same thing. The swatches of fabric are a little bit smaller, it'll be a tighter fit, but it should still work regardless. Now you're going to take your 2 pieces and I want you to find the fuzzy side on both. You're going to stack one on top of the other to try to make it nice and lined up. Both of the fuzzy sides should be facing the middle. Now when it comes to attaching these together, you can either glue it together or sew it together. But don't worry, I'll show you how to do both. I'm going to start off with sewing. If you want to see how to do the hot gluing, skip to this time. First, take your thread and pull out a nice piece around 2 feet long. And cut that off the spool. Now you're going to get your thread and stick it to the tiny little hole on top of the needle. Just like that. Now you'll take this end of the thread and the other end of the thread and tie these together. Just like this. Leaving you with your needle hanging from the thread. After double checking that your fabric is nicely aligned, you're going to get your needle and stick it through the corner right here. And pull the needle all the way through until there's only about 1 inch left of the string on the other side. Take the 2 sides and tie them together like that. I like to do a double knot just to make sure it's nice and sturdy. Now you're ready to sew this up. You're going to take your needle and go from one side all the way to the other and then pull it through just like that. Then you'll take your needle and stick it in again close to where the other one is and close to the edge, just like that. And you pull all the way through. And guess what you're going to do after that? You're going to do it again, and again, and again, and again until you have about 1.5 inches left of string. Then you'll stick it in one more time, not all the way, and then stick your needle through the hole you made. That way you can make a nice knot to keep it in place. You can do it twice if you want to make sure it's extra sturdy. After secure, cut your needle loose. Try to keep your stitches close together and close to the edge. Also while sewing, you probably want to pick a color that matches the color of the fleece. Now I'm going to take another piece of my thread and start the whole process again, continuing right where I left off before. Don't forget to knot this up and keep on sewing until you have the front and the back of the puppet done. Make sure that you only sew the front and the back and don't sew the mouth closed or the bottom where your hand's going to go. You should be left with something like this. Now let's go over the gluing instructions. For that, I'll be using this white fleece that I already cut out. Again, you want to double check that the fuzzy side is facing the middle for both pieces of the fabric. And make sure that it's nicely aligned. Start by lifting up a corner of the fabric. Then use your glue gun to put a nice line of glue right here. You want the line to be nice and thin and next to the edge. Then you'll get the fabric and fold it back on top. Carefully use your hand to flatten it down. Some might come off the side, and if it does, it might burn you, so please be careful. After the hot glue is fully cooled down, you can fold up another part and then continue gluing around the edge. You're going to continue gluing it all the way in the back and in the front. Do not glue this part closed or the bottom part where your hand's going to go. And that's how you glue it and sew them together. Sewing is good because it's sturdier and it looks nicer, but it does take a lot more time, especially if you don't have a lot of practice messing with a needle. Gluing, on the other hand, is very quick, but it might not look as nice when you're done. Now you're going to take your puppet and fold it inside out. Now the fuzzy side should be sticking out. Now let's attach our mouth plate. Put a nice glob of hot glue like that on the corner, and then we're going to stick this on the inside of the mouth like that. Hold this down until it dries. It should be attached just like this. Then you'll add another drop of glue to the other corner right here. And of course, pinch that till it's nice and dry. Don't forget the hot glue is indeed hot, so please don't burn yourself. Now you add a drop of glue to the top and stick the top part on, and then a drop of glue on the bottom and stick the bottom part on. So with all the corners done, you can now pick up a side and then put a line of glue right here and fold this back down and hold it till nice and dry. And repeat this for the other 3 sides. And with it fully glued around the edges, your body of the puppet is done. You can stick your hand in here and start using it just like that. You can glue on the little pom-pom for the nose and the eyes. And feel free to use any of these patterns to cut out and trace on the fleece. So you can cut it out and then attach it to your puppet. You made this puppet, so have fun decorating it the way you want it. Be silly, have fun, stay safe, and as always, don't forget to stay creative. Thank you so very much for watching, and don't forget to have yourself a wonderful day. Bye everybody.